Alrighty, so now we're going to crawl one of my favorite sites to crawl because it's extremely useful. We are going to crawl Yelp. So there's a ton of people that are getting into the SMB space, and Yelp has done a fantastic job of aggregating all of those folks. So we are going to do a search here. Now, there's a million business purposes for these different searches, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to search for gluten-free restaurants in San Francisco because my wife is the page that we want to start scraping on. And just like most of the crawlers that we build, this crawler is going to have two crawlers that work together to make this most effective as possible. So let's start by getting the search pages. The data is still there. Let's click yes. And let's get after training these rows. There we go. I'm having trouble tonight getting to select everything. I'll just go ahead and do it the manual way. Alright, looks like we got all the results we need. Now, here's this moment again where we kind of decide what's important for us to grab in terms of data here. We definitely want to grab the listing link. So, gluten-free grocery. And it already learned the rest of them, which is awesome. Let's grab also the neighborhoods. I find this to be extremely helpful for sorting later, especially if you're looking for a particular neighborhood, into that more so than one that's like a hole-in-the-wall restaurant. That might not apply to everybody, but it is something that I think is relevant and possibly a great way to sort which businesses you want to go after based on that. So I think that's pretty good, but let's also just get the categories. Categories are important because sometimes the way that Yelp's search works, if you don't click on a category itself, if you do a search like we did, it can bring up some crazy categories that you might not be interested in at all. So I think this helps for sorting inside your spreadsheet once you get to that point. Alright, so that is pretty much everything on here that we want to get. Some people like to sort by reviews, so I guess let's just add that. I don't know if this will work or not. Let's see if we can just grab the number. That might actually throw us some issues. You know what? Let's not do that. Let's just grab the whole thing, because in our spreadsheet it'll be easy to remove. Easy to remove the word reviews. Alright, here we go. Alright, got it. Now let's move on. So now, in a previous version of import.io, it actually used to load these URLs a little bit differently. So I actually had quite a bit of issues at first trying to get Yelp to work, and I built a tool for it, which I'll show you here in a second once we get done with the scraper. But I think they've made some recent improvements that make this a whole lot easier. I had to learn the hard way, trial by fire. Just make sure that it's getting all the data here. I do also think it's interesting during this process to take a look at the categories. Sometimes these categories can end up being actually pretty ridiculous. Something like gluten-free, it's probably going to be decent. But sometimes they'll insert just some sort of wild card in here, which is why you always want to check and kind of scrub by category and scrub by like a couple other different elements. Just to make sure that if you're using this for outreach specifically, like trying to find your target customer, that you're not getting bad data into your lead list. All right, perfect. Pika. All right. Perfect. So let's just call this Yelp listing. Or actually, let's call it Yelp search crawler. And the whole point of this first crawler here is to essentially get links to use in our next crawl. So we're going to click Run Crawler here. So we did get the first 5 pages, but we also want to make sure that we're getting all the pages, which is why I built this other tool here. So we're going to copy the first URL. So this is, as you can see here, it's the actual base link that we started off with. Bring this over, and I will actually share this template with you just to kind of show you exactly what it's doing here. I'm going to put in the URL that I searched for. So what this is here to do is just help you determine how many pages of results there are in Yelp and automatically generate those URLs for you. Because this is a scraper that you'll probably come back and use quite a bit, at least it is for me. If you're using it over and over and over again, it helps to have these types of tools in place. So if you scroll all the way down, as you can see, it said there's 107 pages, so it'll automatically fill all these in for you up to the point where you need them. Come with the links. So if you go to this page, it's these links up here. So showing 1 out of 10 of 1066. Boom, there's 1066. So it pulls in that, and then we use some regex magic to extract just the number out of this. And then what happens is it takes that number here, and it divides it by 10 because the pages have 10 results on them, and then it rounds up for the final page. So it tells us how many pages there are total, and then this side of the spreadsheet just says that if the page number is greater than, or excuse me, if the page number is less than, then stop inserting links. So that's what the page does here. So we're just going to take this and scroll down here and copy it. Also, just as an FYI, a pro tip, it works to do the select off the bottom. If you do Shift Command and then up, and then just press down once with Shift still held in, and then you can get all those. There is actual like text in these cells here. So if you try to do the skip to the bottom and skip to the top, it doesn't quite work that way. So just an FYI there. But as you can see, I have it built out to take 1,000 page results. You can always extend this and then just And it's going through them pretty quickly here. Now, what you might see is you might see some pages are actually unavailable or they fail. And this is because Yelp, for whatever reason, at least that I can tell, actually kind of fibs a little bit on how many results they're going to actually display. So once you get down to the final pages, like the 107th page or the 106th page or even maybe the 100th page, they'll say they ran out of results. So I'm not sure exactly why that is, if they're just trying to throw off other scrapers or robots or anything that come to the page. I'm not really sure exactly, but you will see some pages fail. See, we got a couple chalking up over here, but we are burning through pretty quick here. We already have the majority of the pages you can see are working, but see, you'll probably reach a point here where they'll stop working and the rest start failing. But it looks like this one's actually pretty accurate. I have noticed it more in the searches that have just a ton of results. Perfect. So we're uploading the data as the usual. Awesome. So now we have all this different data that we can use to decide who we're going to target. In the next video, we're going to take these listing links and decide what information we want to get off the actual pages of the Yelp listings. So tune in for that next video as well.